The Bears are going to end the home season in style. I can feel it. Positivity reigns supreme. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. The CHGO Bears pregame show starts right now.
Screw it. Let's do another one. 2 more games. We got this. CHGO Bears pregame show starting right now. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman with you. We are presented by our great tasting friends at Miller Lite. Got that going right here as well. You don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite is great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/CHGO football, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Steven producing. Bragg's holding down the tailgate. We got Pat Norton at Soldier Field. The Bears are playing football tonight. It definitely does not feel like it.
That was one of the great last tailgates of a season I've ever been to. I know, Hoge, that you don't allow this, but since it's the holidays and, you know, for Francisco and Eric Castro and Patrick and David and Kevin, Ryan coming all the way from L.A., Kyle and Callie, Australia, an unbelievable couple. One of them writes comic books. The other one illustrates comic books. They were all there today. These are,
once again, they cannot hear you right now and will not hear the podcast because this episode does not get podcast.
Yeah, but the diehards
they
of all
can feel it.
I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again and again and again and again. We'll do it on tomorrow's show. The diehards were out there today. It was awesome to be there. Hoge, you drove all the way back from Minnesota, went right to the tailgate. Is that true?
I swung by.
Shout out to Adam Hoge. 9-hour drive right to the tailgate and then over here.
I did a drive by. I mean, it was about 6 hours, but had to stop home. We don't go all the way up to your area, Minnesota. You do your camp.
Don't you go to Minneapolis?
Yeah, it's 6 hours away. It's not 9.
With kids?
Yeah, 6.5 with kids.
No, it's that is Hoge lockdown. No. Nobody stops.
We stopped 1.5 times.
1.5 stops?
We had 1.5 times.
Okay.
One full-blown stop, another one just for gas. We're good. Yeah, stop by the tailgate. Apparently, we have 5 Australians at the tailgate. None of them know each other. And 1 Kiwi. There's someone from New Zealand.
Unbelievable tailgate. Krista was there already in the chat. I mean, most consistent tailgater of all time. Mm-hmm. I really, my guy Isaac was out there. It was a great time. Good times.
They're all celebrating the, do you know, Carm? Because I know you are big on punting, that we have 2 Australian punters in this football game tonight. So that's why all the Aussies are here, I guess.
You had to ruin the mood with the drafting of a punter in the 4th round on a team that's won 4 games. What the vision of Ryan Poles really, it's stunning me more and more each day. Can we get to the inactives visions of Ryan Poles?
Let's do the inactives. We can do that right off the bat if you want to.
Oh,
we got Tevin Jenkins hurt. Noah Sewell, no one really knows what happened to him.
Did he ever do anything?
He's just there. Tavares Moore is hurt. Travis Homer's hurt. Zach Pickens. Healthy scratch. Zach.
Are we playing for something tonight? Why would you not have one of your young guys who supposedly has
I love that you still can't figure this out.
What can't I figure out?
That they're not good.
So Zach Pickens.
There's no rule in the NFL. It's like if you're under 25, you have to play when your team sucks. You still have to earn your playing time.
All right. Look,
Jonathan Ford.
Ford. They just picked him up off the Packers practice squad, and he's better than your 3rd-round pick from 2 years ago. If that's not a condemnation, a damnation, a something of the general manager. I don't know what is, Hoge.
Well, your third-round pick so far, Velus Jones, Zach Pickens, and Karan Amagaji.
He better play tonight, too. That guy, you better be rotating in Amagaji. And
why?
Because, again,
I'd like to see Caleb Williams finish the game.
All right. If he's good enough to play in Minnesota the other night, then he's good enough to play tonight against Seattle.
Yeah, I keep hearing you say that. You obviously heard Tom Waddle say that. The same thing I heard him say that.
I've been saying it way before Waddle said it. Waddle copies me. I don't copy Waddle.
Okay, here's the thing.
Shout out Waddle.
I love you guys saying that. If he was good to start in Minnesota, he's good enough to start tonight. He wasn't good enough to start in Minnesota. We learned that the second the game started.
That was your evaluation. Okay, how's this? Forget it.
I know. And I learned he can't play.
Let me phrase it another way. If you thought he was good enough to start then, and maybe you were wrong, then you better think that he's good enough to play a couple reps here. He better get a couple reps out there.
I said it at the time. It was a terrible decision. I spent that entire pregame show worried to death about the quarterback.
All right, well, then that's another guy.
And then he got murdered on like the third play of the game.
That's another guy that you should cut.
No, you don't have to cut him. He's just not ready. That's Zach Pickens, we've seen enough of that. Okay, I get that. Okay. Karan, I'm not giving up hope on Karan Amagaji, but I'm just saying that in a year in which he hasn't practiced and he's gone from the Ivy League to the NFL, not ready to be an NFL left tackle.
Okay.
Give him another offseason. Give him more practice. Those are two different situations.
Okay, Hoge. You know what? I'm a flexible guy on the second day of Hanukkah, going right up against Christmas on day one this year, which is a terrible move by Hanukkah. You're taking L's like the Bears. Just, settle into an early December and try to go unnoticed, to go straight at it yesterday. It's a tough day. I mean, it's a tough day for Hanukkah. But look, fine. I'll just take the L. Don't play him then against the Packers. Don't play him. Just tell him, hey, buddy, you're not ready. Sorry. We'll see you next year. Go.
Yes.
Okay. Sick pick.
They said that on draft night.
I know it's a great pick. Listen, we absolutely had the luxury of redshirting someone this year in the third round. That's a really good pick.
I didn't like it at the time.
The red shirt, and I like Karan too. As I'm rooting for Karan, I'm trying to get him on the field. But if I'm going to come your way, I might as well start calling him Karan Redshirt. The Bears are just Super Bowl champions that get this red shirt.
I think you could do better than that nickname, but.
What do you got?
It's a work in progress. No, I don't have anything. I'm just saying
you
need to workshop. You need to work.
Karan, my red shirt. That's not too good either, but he can't beat out Larry Borum. I know it's not about Borum.
Larry Borum's job is to be the swing tackle. So the left tackle's out, he plays. That's okay.
I'm ready for Larry to go to another organization next year too. You know what? I fight for mediocre offensive linemen. I still want that. I still want Sam Mustipher on this team.
Yeah.
I want Mustipher back. That guy competed. I'm a Mustipher guy.
Okay. I think he's still playing somewhere. All right. Well, we do have a kickoff here in a little bit less than an hour, and those were your inactives, and we like to always talk about what matters most at the start of every pregame show. What matters most? So last week I went to Ben Johnson, and that ended up mattering a ton, and that worked out. We are going to talk about Pete Carroll here, but I don't think Pete Carroll's going to necessarily have any impact on this game. So since we can't really go head coach, let's bring it back to the quarterback. But I want to bring it specifically to Rome Odunze too. Because Rome had a rough start to the game last week. A couple fumbles. Caleb got charged with one of them. But the ball, they're probably both on Rome. And then they came back and had a pretty decent connection the rest of the game. Let's see that duo right there. The Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze duo finish the season strong with these next two games. That's what I'm going to say matters most tonight. And also, like the last time they were on primetime did not go well. It was one of Caleb's worst games of the season, and it does matter. You're on primetime. You got more people watching. Have a nice night.
Yeah, that's a good one. The Rome Caleb thing is hopefully will grow to where Ryan Poles says it's going to go to. on my what matters most, Geno Smith's been sacked the 4th most of any player in the NFL this year. He's thrown up picks too. And maybe I should just lean into Jonathan Ford. Like I
wait, no.
No?
I'm vetoing that. You're not allowed to say Jonathan Ford matters most. That's been vetoed. It's been vetoed.
Well, let me tell you why I'm going down the road of getting. When I was thinking about the answer to the first segment, what matters most, I said get to Geno Smith because the Seahawks are going to throw the football all night. Mm-hmm. Kenneth Walker, their top running back, is out. Zach Charbonnet has had some big games this year, or at least one of them a couple of games ago. But they're not. He's going to be back there, and the offense is on Geno. So, and he has gotten sacked a bunch. So, hello, Dex back out there. Can somebody put some pressure on? Can the defense look at least somewhat capable? Because as I think about the Bears in the offseason, as much as I will celebrate if we end up losing 11 in a row, because you'll get a higher draft pick maybe by a couple of spots. I also think win a football game. I think they need to get past this. I just carrying it in the offseason just seems nauseating. So pathway to do it, get to Geno, put some pressure on him. Ball will come out. Somebody should be able, hello, Jalen Johnson hasn't had a pick in a minute. Let's get some turnovers here, and let's just end this. And to the diehards that are going out there tonight in the not so cold but rainy Thursday night right after Christmas, let Bears fans see a win tonight. So my key to that is a little pressure on Geno.
Well, I'm glad you just brought that up with what's on the line here in these final 2 games in terms of draft position. If you could pick between one of 2 scenarios. Okay, scenario 1 is you lose out. You've lost 11 straight games. You maximize your draft pick, which is only a few extra spots at this point.
Right.
But you're sitting pretty solid with a valuable top 10 pick.
Yep.
Scenario 2 is Caleb Williams finishes with 2 really strong games, sets the Bears single-season passing record.
Right.
Finishes with 11 straight games. I guess it would be 10 straight games without an interception if he goes 2 more, right? No, that would be 11 straight games because the last one was a win. So 11 straight games without an interception sets the franchise record for and they win a couple games. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm picking that second one.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about getting the number 1 pick, and we're also talking about hopefully, I would think that they're going to be drafting an offensive lineman. I would like to think the same player that would be available for them at 10 that would be there at 7 perhaps.
Yeah, they get another right tackle.
So, right, great. Draft another right tackle. That'd be amazing. Take that back. It's drafting for need sucks too. Take the best player available, but they're in such dire need on the offensive line that in this case it might make sense for the Bears. But I'm with you in that scenario. I'm especially with you if it is Caleb leading a drive at the end of the game, down 3 or down 4 or whatever, throws a sweet touchdown pass to whoever. That would be a cool thing to have happen here.
And he's had those moments.
But it's been one of the best things that's happened all year.
Then it gets followed up by a Hail Mary or some stupid nonsense. Not calling timeout. Settling for hard field goals.
Do you realize that if Matt Eberflus knew how to handle the final minutes of games, he wouldn't have been, but he should have been in consideration with this roster to be the head coach of the year if he had known how to do that.
Well, wasn't that why in the summer he was at one point leading both? He had the best odds for coach of the year and to get fired first, simultaneously.
Somehow Vegas knew that if they're close games, he's going to blow it. But if they somehow win, this Matt Eberflus had this roster at 4-2. It's one of the greatest accomplishments in NFL head coaching history. and then he just couldn't figure out how to stop a Hail Mary, and the 13 yards matter, and then he couldn't figure out how to call a timeout, and then he couldn't figure out to get the ball on the right hash, and then he couldn't figure out how to communicate to the media, and then he couldn't figure out how to communicate to the team. But you know what's happened since Matt Eberflus left? The Bears have gotten worse.
Wow.
Worse.
They've gotten worse defensively.
Yeah, they're worse.
Yeah.
They're worse.
Okay, that's misleading, though.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he shouldn't have been fired.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
But they've gotten worse.
Well, we don't know what they would be like in the final minute of the game.
Couldn't be any worse.
Now the defense can't keep it close enough. All right. We take our first time out. And we got a lot more coming up. We'll talk a little Pete Carroll coming up, more Caleb stats as well. But first, we want to thank our sponsor at Sunnyside. Our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary are here to elevate your winter. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They have a crazy selection of over 100 different strains to choose from with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Stop in the store nearest you throughout Illinois for expert guidance from their staff or select from quality lines like Cresco or Floracal. And got about a week left on this one, but you can still get out there and get this done. Sunnyside Scratch and Stash is back again this holiday season. Receive a scratch-off card every time you shop now through December 31st or while supplies last. Every card is a winner, and you could win big, like 50% off or $100 off your next purchase. Hurry in to see what you win. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
Phenomenal tailgate tonight. Why? That's because of our friends at Miller Lite. Lots changed over the years. One thing that hasn't, the great taste of Miller Lite. Another thing that hasn't changed, that's right, it is less filling. Best thing about the original light beer, that debate just keeps on going. 1975, and it's never going to stop. Undebatable quality, great taste, 96 calories, the official beer of the CHGO Bears. You don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/CHGO football. Or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces, fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer. A ton of super chats coming in here.
Yeah,
Boger,
we got
if
the
you
goat.
want to give some, you want to give love to the goat? Let's give the goat some love.
Well, Mark Gauthier out there in England right now. He's going to have to stay up for this one tonight.
That's because he's the GOAT. That's why he's the GOAT. He is the GOAT.
$10 super chat. Hey, guys, just got my CHGO London shirt today. Good omen. See you at 4 a.m. for the post game. Like and subscribe. Easingwold Bears fan club.
See, now that level of dedication, think about what the GOAT must be doing in his life. If he's willing to be up at 4 a.m. for our post game show, for Bears and Seahawks in a 4-11 lost 9 games in a row season.
Yeah.
Anything the GOAT commits to, the GOAT succeeds at. That's why he's the GOAT. I appreciate that.
And he's going to be rocking his CHGO London shirt.
Great shirt.
Yeah.
Shout out, by the way, Kurt Gullidge. I meant to write you back on Twitter. Thank you for the Carm Cocky shirts, which will be sweeping the nation at some point. It's not in print yet, but there's I mean, we don't make shirts for Carmen around here, but Kurt's out there for me.
It's weird enough that you say that word, and then the way you said that makes
it was a bad word. Bad sequencing
there. I don't really want to know what's on that shirt.
It's a great shirt.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good shirt. Strong shirt. We could sell tons.
I'm going to refrain from going any further down that one. Okay. Caleb Williams.
Talk about it.
Yes.
Underline it.
3,271 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He is 568 away from breaking the Bears' all-time single-season passing record that Eric Kramer set in 1995.
How good are you, Hoge? Before you go any further, do you know who the leading receiver was on the 1995 Chicago Bears. If you get this,
boy, now is it Marty Booker?
It wasn't Marty Booker. I don't think you'll get it in 5 guesses. I wouldn't have gotten it, for the record. I don't think the chat will get it. I don't think Gary Ross will get it. Don't cheat, don't look.
Curtis Conway?
Second, 1,037.
They had 2 1,000-yard receivers.
Mm-hmm. Rashaan Salam also ran for 1,074 yards that year.
It's not Curtis Conway. Who else?
Q Harlan just got it. Congratulations to Q Harlan. Jeff Graham, 1,301.
I barely even remember who that is.
Yeah, he was here for a minute.
That's crazy.
Yep, Jeff Graham.
Okay.
There it is. Anyway, keep going.
Williams, 326 consecutive attempts without an interception. It's an NFL rookie record, the most ever by a Bears player. If you could fill here 30 seconds, I had some other notes too that came from the NFL.
I got it. So, look, 326 passes in a row. So he is going to pass Derek Carr for the forget about the name. Even though it was 2018.
Wasn't Derek Carr in the MVP conversation that season?
That I don't remember, but that sounds possible because it's probably another one of his 4,000-yard seasons that I had to defend on the show when I said he was a better quarterback than Justin Fields. But regardless of that, the guy's going to be in the top 5 in the history of the NFL as far as consecutive passes in a season, not having an interception. That is impressive. Now, it is interesting if I was listening to Poles' pregame hit on 1,000 today. And he's talked about how, imagine, what it's going to look like when he actually sees the field quicker. Yeah. So the general manager is openly talking about how his quarterback has a long way has a distance to go here to travel, to getting to where his peak will be. And so it's part of the reason I think that he does have this streak is because he has held on to it at times too long and has taken sacks that he shouldn't have taken and maybe didn't take some chances that he could have taken. But it's still a very impressive stat. I mean, let's give the guy his props.
It is. And again, I want to emphasize this. He can become the 3rd quarterback in NFL history with 10 consecutive games throwing the ball at least 20 times, 20 pass attempts, and no interceptions. So if he gets through tonight, throws the ball 20 times, no interceptions, be only the 3rd quarterback ever in the history of the NFL to do that. Tom Brady and Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
If you want to poo-poo that, then you're just looking for reasons to shoot the kid down.
Last thing I want to do is poo-poo anything about Caleb Williams. Look, I mean, what would be the point of that right now? It is, but I do think that it's getting sort of lost in the wash here because they've lost 9 games in a row. Don't care. Haven't seen a win since London. Every single one of these passes has come in games that they've lost.
It's just remarkable that you could lose all those games.
Right. Well, yes, and if he didn't throw interceptions, they would have lost by a lot more. Well, yeah, they would have. I mean, a lot of these games they should have, could have, did, and then did not win. Specifically, the game that would have made them 5-2. So, but to me, what's even more impressive is the way he's played in the 4th quarter when they've had to have it. Now, they get into overtime against the Vikings and they go 3 and out, and that sucked. But I mean, he's picking up 2-point conversions. He's done a lot of good things. It's just his year is not being celebrated because the Bears are sitting here at 4-11. Yep. How are they 4-11? Do we just get $100 super chat? Let's get that up here, Hoge.
Yeah, in the meantime, while he pulls that up, this coming in from our guy Pat Norton at the stadium. Carm, you might get your wish because Larry Borom and Karan Amagaji are trading reps.
I know the Bears better than the Bears know the Bears. I knew they were going to do this.
But it looks like Borom will be the starter.
Yeah, they're both going to play. That was because when Thomas Brown said this week they're going to compete, I'm like, you can't compete when you're not practicing all week. So
they've had one practice in
so they're going to both get a chance to play. Yeah. And if I bet if Amagaji plays better than him, then he'll play more, or vice versa. More likely that Bourne will get more run. Mr. Crinkle 44, $100.
Okay, Mr. Crinkle.
Thank you, Mr. Crinkle. You're the best. I just want to say CHGO is the best Bears coverage around. Would also like to say how much Nicholas Moreno is a huge part of the CHGO's come up. Gonna miss him with you guys. Gotta love me some Moreno. Bear down, Mr. Crinkle. We appreciate it, and we're gonna miss Nick too. And Nick did a phenomenal job for us. And thank you for underlining all of that. We appreciate it.
1,000%. Yeah, we appreciate the support, and we also are going to be following Nick.
All I do is watch Nick's Insta. One of the greatest Instas going. And his Twitter.
Good-looking Nick.
Nick's going to take over the world. We all know this. Is ever asking on here, are you guys Jewish? Justin Cool. You got one Jew over here, one non-Jew. Trying to represent America here on this show. Got all the religions covered.
We're doing a terrible job then. If it's just you and me.
I think we're doing a great job. Two fine Caucasian males talking to you and representing the world as best we can. Okay. Listen, we got Christmas trees in my house and Hanukkah bushes and candles being lit, and I'm eating ham and I'm knocking down latkes like left and right. We're doing everything as we can here. Damn it. And watching the Bears.
Yeah.
Hoge.
It's Bears pregame. By the way, postgame, Braggs will be with us. He's locking things down at the tailgate, and Lance Briggs coming in tonight. Corey Wooten, if you're wondering where Corey is, he's hanging out with his family, and he will be back with us for the Week 18 game against the Packers. Yeah.
Woot's still in the same pajamas that he wore to the set last time. He hasn't changed. Well, wait, but hold on. Let me go back to you. What have you liked the most this year about Caleb?
I think I like the most that he just hasn't really flinched. He's had a lot thrown his way. He's had 3 offensive coordinators, 2 play callers. Head coach gets fired. OC gets fired. Offensive line injuries have been crazy. It wasn't a very good unit to begin with. There's been a lot of reasons why he should have had a terrible rookie season. And he's still in there even after he's taken a beating the last couple weeks, grinding his way to the end of the game. He's had a number of games where he's done his part in the fourth quarter to give the team a chance to win, where we're not sitting there on the postgame show going like, this was Caleb's fault, and he's got to be better. He does have to be better in certain areas. Obviously, I'd like to see the completion percentage higher. Got to stop taking sacks. But the fact that he keeps coming back no matter what, and like we talked about, hasn't thrown an interception as long as he has. Like, you gotta love that too. That's probably the easy answer. That he's just not turning the ball over.
No, I loved your first answer. It's worth underlining. He has now. There's been some emotion or whatever, like tumbling on the bench and the sideline moments or whatever. But every time he's come up to that podium, his mood has been solid. Wear the Santa hat this week. Go Bears to end it. And just level-headed. Mm-hmm. Moving forward. I mean, I get it. It's his rookie year, and he's got a lot of runway here and whatnot. But I think that's a great point by you. Like, look, this is not somebody that has gone in the tank at all as far as where, handling the roller coaster that I wouldn't even call it a roller coaster, handling the Titanic that has been this season, I mean, and he's had some unbelievable throws. And, if you really want to dream it big, if he really starts to process things a lot quicker, I mean, how good's he? How high up can Caleb get? If he a lot, right?
I mean, and here's the reality: is like none of us really know, right? Like
Of course.
He is a Bears quarterback. It usually does not go well, but I guess my point is it usually goes a lot worse than this. When you talk about everything he's had to face, and so for him to kind of survive all that, if there's a world in which he sets even though it's a low bar, and we all get that, but if he sets the franchise's single season passing record, despite all of this,
yep,
that still means something, and it would.
He needs 568 yards for the record.
Yeah.
It's basically needs 2 300-yard games if you want to make it easy.
270. I think I did the math. 270. Somewhere in 270s.
It's
doable.
568 divided by 2 is 234. No, that's not right.
No.
Wow, I was just about to make fun of you of your math, and I'm scuffling on it. That's embarrassing. Go ahead. I'm gonna give you the exact number.
Okay, use your calculator.
Yep.
It's
pathetic. That's really sad. I mean, seriously, 568 divided by 2. I can't do that in my head. 284. Is that what you just said?
I mean, I was in the 270. I think I said 270.
I don't think you said
284.
284.
Okay.
I like my original point. He needs 2 300-yard games. Come on, you can do this.
Well, okay. You're right. 2 300 games would get it done.
1 300.
I was trying to say he didn't quite have to get there.
1 300 and 1 268 would do it.
There
too.
we go.
There we go.
Now we're talking about math.
All right.
Bring Greg back for his math. Math with Greg. All right. There was something though I want to bring up. Did you heard polls on the pregame, right?
Yes, I did.
Despite the fact that those are getting increasingly harder to listen to every week. He had an interesting comment.
I had a lot of interesting comments. Which one are you going to pick out?
Well, that he went back to training camp.
Oh, that was super interesting. How come you guys have had such slow starts? Well, it wasn't handled in training camp. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, G. Are you serious? Are you serious? Dude, if you didn't know that was being handled in training camp, then why did you go on Hard Knocks and sit there and act like everything was great and you were about to get off to this great start? And then they were 4-2, by the way, Ryan. If you were so bad in training camp, why did it take you 9 weeks to finally move on the OC?
Well, I think he was just saying that, like, some of the details within the offense. But that's the point. They didn't know that in training camp. They know that now. It's not like they were sitting there in training camp being like, oh, we're missing this, this, and this. It wasn't apparent until the season started.
I would have rather said, why are you guys getting up to such a slow start? Because the O-line that I put together can't play. Because we can't run the ball. Because I signed a running back that's at best a gadget guy and I passed on Saquon Barkley. Because I drafted a 3rd-round pick and made him a red shirt. Because Velus Jones stinks, even though Carman wants him to still be on the roster getting opportunities. I mean,
you're not allowed to have that take.
Yeah. Because the roster I put together wasn't good enough. Period. I mean, sure. And also, by the way, the coaches that I hired too. He's so positive in these things. It's kind of tough to listen to. Yeah, tonight's a really huge night game. These guys are playing for something, and it's a great okay.
Was there any? You said there were a few other things that were interesting in that interview.
Well, his tone, for one, is just I sort of just don't know how he does it. Like he's got some superpower to stay as positive as he has to me. And then he was asked about Brisker.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing better, staying safe and healthy, and proving he's doing his thing. Can somebody?
That was the biggest non-answer to a very serious question I've ever heard.
Yeah, dude, there's 2 games left. He's not playing the rest of the year. I would assume.
Yeah.
Why? And he's been out forever. Why can't we get an honest answer of what's going on here? Like, yeah, which, I mean.
What do you need to hear, though? We know what's going on. He had another serious head injury, and he's not healed from it.
Well, we're extremely concerned about Jaquan. He has not been able to get back on the field. We're hopeful that next season, can look a lot different than it is right now. But it's been a bummer not having him out there. He's doing his thing. His thing is playing football. And he hasn't been doing his thing. I don't know. I just thought I think it's very weird the way they've just dodged. They just haven't talked about what's going on there really at all. It's bizarre. I get what's happening, but he was obviously concussed. They put him back on the field. Then they figured out, way after the fact. I don't know. It's an odds. And
it is interesting that it was a concussion that he finished the game.
Yeah.
Didn't get diagnosed till the next day, and then he's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and it's Kyle Waddle's put in the chat. He may be retired. Who knows? I mean, it seems like, and I don't want to read too much into Twitter.
Well, I understand that, but the point is, I would say that's on the table, that we don't see him play football ever again. I hope that's not the case, but it could be. But my point, that's something he's got to answer.
Yeah.
It's tough to put the GM in that situation.
He also, he's talking about the D-line. He's talked about this before, and he's proud of Chris Williams and Byron Cowart, but they've really been missing Dexter and Billings. I'm just like, there's just not. I just want him to own some of his failures, which he just, I don't know, he's not doing that enough for me. And then he also said there's
a lot.
Yeah, I know. And he said,
right down a list.
And he said we have some really talented guys who will be here in 2025. So that almost sounded to me like, oh, well, sounds to me like there's going to be a pretty damn big roster turnover here. I don't think they're running it back. I mean, you never do.
Well, no, there will be a lot of turnover. There's turnover every year, but
it feels like a larger turnover.
Well, you have something like 30 guys that are on the final year of their contract right now. So that's evidence enough. But on top of that, you're going to have a new coaching staff. And that always leads to new players.
It's another thing he said in there,
What, that there's going to be a new coach?
Yeah.
I think we know that.
But he just I forget exactly how he phrased it, but just the way he talked about the new staff coming in here. How it's all going to mesh, how the players are going to align with the new coaching staff or something of that ilk. It was just like, man, a lot of.
I don't know what that means.
A lot of moving parts here. Anyway, it was. Shout out to Jeff Joniak for doing that interview each week. It's jumping over a higher bar.
1,000%. All right, let's talk about some of the coaching. I don't want to even call it news. But last week, right before the Bears play the Lions, report came flying out there. Ben Johnson is interested in the Bears job, or is willing to listen, or however it was phrased. Now we get the one yesterday from Adam Schefter that Pete Carroll is interested. Seahawks at Soldier Field tonight.
I don't like it. I don't mind it as a backup option. You a Pete Carroll fan?
Well, here's my first take. If I'm going to say that the Bears should have at least entertained Bill Belichick and talked to Bill Belichick, if for no other reason than to have the opportunity to talk to Bill Belichick about what he thinks is wrong with your sorry franchise.
Have the convo?
I am going to say the same exact thing about Pete Carroll, who is a very well-accomplished coach, has a Super Bowl ring, and yeah, I would like the Bears to talk to Pete Carroll. I would entertain that. And I also think because we always rush to like make comparisons, right? And so it'll be thrown out there that like this is the John Fox option of this. No, it's not. Pete Carroll is way more accomplished than John Fox. I think the fact that he's 73 now, right? Or will be 73 next season. And still has this burning desire to coach. I mean, shows you that he's in it. So I think Pete Carroll could do a lot of good at House Hall. Do I think he should be the top choice? The guy you definitely go after? No, but I'd like to see the Bears interview Pete Carroll. Yes.
So I've always been attracted to his enthusiasm for the game. I'm attracted to the fact that he's certainly gets, I don't know how much credit you want to give him for Russ's career, but he's in there probably in a very large way. This is a Super Bowl champion. If I'm Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren, you can take a victory lap on this too. Like, hey, there's a really accomplished guy who's had a ton of success in the NFL, who looks at your roster, looks at your quarterback, and wants to coach that football team. That's a nice little check mark for you. I mean, I don't think that's good. I think they're going to hire Ben Johnson. I think they're going to do everything they can to get him. But if for some reason that goes south, Pete's an interesting name, man. I don't care that he's 73 years old. You tell me that he's here for 4 years and he hands the team off to an OC who knows what he's doing, and you do that transition well, I will gladly take that. If you tell me that Pete Carroll's going to be here through the rest of Caleb's rookie contract and gets him on a really, really, really high trajectory in his career, that would be just fine with me.
Yeah, I actually like the Pete Carroll idea. He took the Seahawks to the playoffs in 10 of 14 seasons. He showed that he could coach and develop a quarterback in Russell Wilson, as you mentioned. If one of the knocks is that he's 73, well, he's the youngest 73 I've ever seen in my life. I mean, that guy's got so much energy, and the players relate with him really well. He relates to the players really well. I mean, I think it'd be a great signing.
73 is the new 48. I mean, look at me.
Which one are you?
I'm one of the most spry 51-year-olds you'll ever meet.
Okay.
You should have seen me at physical therapy today, moaning like a guy's never moaned in the history of physical therapy. Listen.
You're like a 6-year-old.
Exactly. Thank you. If we're sitting here in a month and Pete Carroll's the hire, are you going to be saying that the Bears made a mistake? Assuming, let's just say that it went the way that Ben Johnson didn't want to come here. Ben Johnson staying in Detroit. The Bears did everything they could to get him, and it didn't happen. Their second choice was Pete Carroll. Would you hate that?
That's tough being put on the spot. I think to kind of what you're alluding to, it depends on how that all plays out, the sequence of events. I think you can do a lot worse than Pete Carroll.
Right.
I think the Bears have done a lot worse than Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time. But yeah, if Ben doesn't want the job, it's different though if Ben does want the job and they pick Pete Carroll over Ben Johnson. That would feel like, again, not picking the obvious candidate.
Well, one of the things that scares me too is us waiting for Ben Johnson. What if he decides he doesn't want the job?
Well,
they'll
know he's not going to leave the Bears hanging.
Do we know that?
There's going to be conversations. If they can't figure out if he is strongly interested, that if the money is right, that he's going to do it, and you guys just got to wait. I mean, now that could impact, as Hoge's talked about a ton here, who's on his staff.
Yeah.
That could be if they're moderately qualified at their job, they'll know that he wants to come here.
All right, I'm going to summarize some Albert Breer he's kind of like the insider on the Prime.
Here comes Albert. All right.
Broadcast.
Yeah.
And
sure.
There's a video that came out while we've been doing the show, so obviously we can't listen to it. But our guy, Pat Norton, just kind of transcribed some of it for us. So on Ben Johnson, Albert Breer, who's been on top of this Ben Johnson thing, said he's going to be selective in who he interviews with. As we said earlier in the month, I would expect that he would take an interview with Chicago, but his criteria remains the same. He wants alignment with the general manager and an ownership group that will identify and fix its mistakes.
Okay.
Some other names to keep an eye on: Mike Vrabel and Aaron Glenn very clearly fit the quote leader of men mold. Couple of guys that have connections to the organization. Cliff Kingsbury, Coach Caleb Williams at USC, has a good relationship with him. Brian Flores was a college teammate of Ryan Poles, which is something to keep in mind. And then there's interim coach Thomas Brown. I expect all of those guys to get a look. And then there's Pete Carroll. Yes, he has interest in the Bears job, but that's not the only one he's looking at. I'm told he's informed all the teams with openings that he's looking to get back into coaching in 2025. Additionally, I'm told the Bears are interested in sitting down and having a conversation with Carroll about their opening. Okay, so that's a little bit of news there at the end that's reciprocated, that they want to talk to him. Here's another thing, though. Like,
we go back. Yeah, go ahead.
Pete Carroll is kind of a big enough name that shouldn't Pete Carroll not have to announce that he's interested in jobs?
I mean, I think
is it a warning sign that he has to like send out the bat signal to the NFL, being like, "Hi, I'm here, I'm interested," because he doesn't seem like a guy who would have to do that. But as we just learned with Bill Belichick, nobody wanted Bill Belichick. Pete Carroll might want all the jobs. I'm not sure he gets one.
Maybe he doesn't. And maybe it is slightly concerning. But the bottom line is that he's 73 years old. And when you're that old, you probably do need to remind people that you want to work. Hey, man, I'm not done. I don't forget about those two numbers. You can flip them around, by the way, because I feel 37. I'm Pete Carroll. I'm letting you all know with enthusiasm that I want to get back in there.
Yeah, I guess I'll be surprised if Pete Carroll is the Bears head coach.
I would be very surprised too.
But I'm happy to hear they would like to talk to him. That's a step in the right direction compared to not wanting to talk to that greatest head coach ever.
Let's go back to what really matters here, and that's the Ben Johnson part of this report. Can I just read that again so it'll settle in with me? He's going to be selective in who he interviews. As we said earlier this month, I would expect he'll take an interview with the Bears, but his criteria remains the same. He wants alignment with the GM and an ownership group that will identify and fix his mistakes. So if he comes in here and says, I don't feel comfortable with Ryan, here's 3 guys that I would want you to interview.
Mm-hmm.
What do the Bears do?
I'm fascinated to know.
Because that scenario was the Tower. Shout out the Tower.
The Sears Tower?
The Sears Tower on Twitter laid out that scenario that Poles is still likely, but if their number one guy really is not comfortable and he wants this, then that is the way that Ryan could be out. So that almost sounds directly related to Ben Johnson.
It might be. And if that's the case, I hope they're open-minded. And they look at all their options. And if they end up losing Ryan Poles out of it, sorry, man. It's the NFL.
Well, right. Not for long. Even if you're the GM, if the guy that you want to have coaching your team wants somebody else. But that would be wild and a half. Bears are firing Poles.
It would, but it would also be a way in which they don't normally operate, and maybe that's a good thing.
Right. Well, you would have GM and coach aligned with a quarterback that has been in the league for 1 year, which is close to all 3, but closer than the Bears have gotten in a long time. Yeah. It's interesting.
All right. Anything else in there? I think we're...
Well, yeah. No, but I just think that is a huge drop by good old Albert. He wants alignment with the GM and ownership group that will identify and fix its mistakes. What does that mean exactly? He's talking like, hey, Kevin, this was a mistake. You're going to have to fix that mistake. That almost sounds like Ben's not coming here unless he gets his own GM.
Well, possibly. But I also think, that last part's a little bit harder to sort through and kind of understand what does that exactly mean. You are willing to admit your mistakes. I think the way I kind of translate that is...
If he wants the McCaskies to admit their mistakes, he ain't coming here.
Well, probably. But I'm thinking more of it of do you come into the interview and you sense stubbornness with ownership? Or are they open about what's gone wrong here, what exactly we need to fix? But if it's more of a like, well, it's not our fault type of thing, then yeah, I don't know. That one's hard to sort through.
It's going to be a very interesting offseason starting immediately.
All right, should we get to prop bets? Talk about this game.
Sure.
Yep. Well, it would just be perfect if Jackson Smith and Jigba scored a touchdown tonight. So if you don't bet that, I come on, do it for CHGO. You know the whole story, how this all started back in February with Jackson Smith and Jigba coming on our show and basically losing his mind when Shane Waldron's name came up, and then we lost our minds. The question should only be, do you go first TD score, anytime TD score, or 2 TD? I'm kind of thinking 2 touchdowns tonight.
I just hope that when he scores, he'll look right into the camera and say, is this live? Is this live?
That would be great.
He's had a hell of a year, good old Jackson Smith and Jigba. I hope we get to see him at the Super Bowl down in New Orleans. When CHGO is on the case for you guys as well. But that's a good one. I'm taking Rome 3-1 for a Rome touchdown tonight. It's a fun one to play. Caleb, you know you're looking for your guy in the end zone. Rome, you know you're coming correct this evening. Let's go. I'm taking the over on his yards too, which is 41.5 on our friends at Circa. Shout out to Derek Stevens and the Circa crew. Awesome to have them at our tailgate last week. So 41.5 on the over and plus 300 to score. I'm living the Roma Dunze dream. Just for you, Gregory P. Allen Braggs.
Steven, you like the Gerald Everett revenge game factor?
No, I don't. I do like DeAndre Swift today, though.
Why?
You get a plus 160 to score a touchdown. The Seahawks have allowed the 9th most rushing yards in the NFL, yet only 9 rush touchdowns. I'm kind of thinking that those numbers start to even out a little bit. They've been a little lucky and fortunate on not allowing rush TDs so far this year.
Okay, yeah, I mean, Swift to get in the end zone at plus 170. It's pretty good. I like that.
Does anybody have Zach Charbonnet's numbers pulled up in front of him?
Like what?
What's his
season numbers? Or
no, just his yardage.
Score
to bet over under yards.
Oh, yards. Rush yards. Zach Charbonnet
69.5.
Whew.
Yeah.
That's tall. I'm not playing that. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. It's a good matchup against this bad Bears run defense, but they still don't seem to commit to the run too much there.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, if you just want to gamble, sure. He's going to get the football. He's had, as recently as a couple of games ago, 124. So I suppose it's not the worst.
And Kenneth Walker is now out for the remainder of the regular season, so he's going to get the lion's share of the carries there.
Yep, that's the play.
It's still not a lot, though.
It's not a very good Bears run defense either.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. All right, let's get to our predictions, too, for tonight's game.
You want to talk about what you were saying right before we did the show, or are you just going to give your prediction?
Oh, well, that's part of the predictions. Yeah, pregame predictions presented by Ray Auto Group. Go visit them on Route 12 in Fox Lake. Our guy Ray Scarpelli. Yeah, here we do have
the wrong things up there.
The wrong predictions.
Oh, sorry. I get the right one. That's week 16. Here we go.
I'm like, someone picked the Seahawks.
Here we go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Forget about those Lions. That was forever ago.
I'm sorry. Someone picked the Bears was what I meant to say. It would be Greg.
He went for it, man. Good for Gregory. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, he doesn't believe that. He's just trying to catch you, which he can't mathematically do. So
that I was, at the tailgate, I was like, he doesn't really believe that. If he had to bet his life on it, he'd bet on the Seahawks. But then he said his life is the Bears. So maybe he would.
That's a good point.
Maybe he'd go down with the ship tonight.
To what Carm was talking about, I have the Bears winning 34-19. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Seahawks winning 34-19 to beat the Bears. I have been kind of having a weird feeling today, though.
Hoge's having a weird feeling.
It just wouldn't shock me if we're talking about a Bears win. This always seemed like a night on the schedule where you're like, regardless of how this is going, it's a short week for Seattle. Christmas is in the middle of it. They're literally traveling here on Christmas Day.
They know their season's over. There's no way.
Well, no, if they win out, they could still make the playoffs.
It's a massive game for them. They have to win.
The Rams are not losing Arizona. Their season's
But
over.
they don't know that tonight.
Yeah,
they have to show up on the field and play.
I'm trying to make a case for you.
No, I know, but that just wasn't.
I think they know their season's over.
Let me make the case for me.
Okay.
Because that's not one of the
Okay.
points I believe in. I actually think that this is huge for them. But I don't know. Earlier in the week I was thinking the Seahawks would put up a ton of points. I'm just not. Now I'm not so confident. So I'm still picking the Seahawks. Don't get me wrong, but the comp I brought up was the Arizona game when we all picked the Bears to win, but then we were doing the pregame show and we all had a terrible feeling it was going to go horribly wrong, and it did. So
We did know then. We got the feelings on that one were right.
yeah. So maybe this won't be right. I don't know.
Bragg just walked in if he'd like to come on and
He's I would
super
prefer
chatting
for
and
him to
walking in
keep
simultaneously.
feeding the company more money, passive aggressively sending comments through the internet instead of just
the $2 here comes the Hoge hedge.
yeah.
That's kind of
Hoge
funny. It's the Hoge hedge.
It's the Hoge hedge. All right, let's get some more supers here before we get to kickoff. Crystal just saw out at the tailgate, as always, $10. She says, let's go. Last home game, guys. Reporting from Soldier Field. It's beautiful and amazing weather. Bear down. Love you guys. It is a nice night. I mean, for December 26th.
Crystal has come to, I think, every single one of our tailgates. Crystal's the best. And she's in section 150-something tonight, if you want to go hang out with one of the great Bears fans.
Why don't you just give out her address, too?
She's out at a public event. People can go up and say hello to her. She wants to see guys. I mean, girls, whoever. Maybe men. I don't know. Herb. Did I see Herb over?
Are you placing bets?
Yes.
Will you finish the show?
I am. And listen, you got me excited. Jackson Smith and Jigba, I got to get it in here.
Chubbs 82, $10. The Justin Fields people all over X are the most sad people on earth. He's gone. He's not going to be your friend. He's not going to be a Bear. He wasn't good. Go away. No one invited you on this set. Speaking of go away.
Rex, you want to read this one?
Can you turn off your phone so we don't hear the show back at us? Coat man.
Okay. I'll finish the show. Braggs says he's been drinking. Great.
Yeah, have a seat back there.
Chubbs 82.
This is where you're doing the post-game
Polls
show.
is not good. Another one from Chubbs.
Quran, my wayward son.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. Uh-oh. This doesn't feel safe for me at all.
Brody, $5. I'll be taking a shot of bleach for every point the Bears don't score in the first half. Starting at 10 shots, 1 shot removed for every point scored.
Brody,
Jesus.
don't do this, Brody.
Please
We need you, Brody. Don't die, Brody.
I know. I'm trying. I'd like to see kickoff.
Pretty slow reading you got going on here.
Logie, 65. I haven't super chatted in a while, but I just want to say thank you guys for the best Bears coverage all season long. # Team Carm.
Thank you, Logie. Appreciate you.
Garbage Man Steve, $5. It needs to be May already. I need to know already who's the coach, free agent signings, and who we draft. Next few months are going to be rough. Bear down.
It's going to be great.
Caleb times Komet. $4.99. Remember the frustration and anger from Cutler? How does Caleb keep it cool and positive? He's our guy.
There you go.
That's a good point. Joe Calcagnol, $5. Is it possible Brisker is being covertly suspended? His Twitter is spicy. For sure hated Falus.
Don't think so.
Don't think he's being suspended, but yeah,
HR.
The rest of that was accurate. Jonathan Otten, $5. Poles needs to answer in Jordan voice to be taken more seriously.
Certainly. I've done a terrible job.
Braggs. This is so stupid. Why are we? I'm skipping Braggs'
No,
kickoffs.
you're not.
Yes, I am.
No,
Kickoff.
I paid for this.
Back in
That's the way it
point,
goes.
$5. Carroll with Brown as OC preparing to take over in 4 years. Oh, that's wishful. And then $5. It's classic Bears to be eliminated and embarrassed and then win out to ruin their draft. That's a good point.
Wait.
Yeah.
I paid like $20. Start reading them.
Yeah.
And Braggs was on Fox earlier.
Wow,
Oh,
Gregory.
Fox.
Don't you do that every week?
No,
Oh.
that's new.
Was that at our tailgate?
That was at our tailgate.
There we go. Was that our tailgate?
Why did they pick you?
Why didn't you know why? Come on.
I
I'm so
don't.
Good looking.
Oh,
Now read one of my super chats. They were all funny.
The game is starting. Come join us on the
Oh
post-game
my
show.
God.
As soon as the post-game's over, they all were on the screen.
No, don't do the all that were on the screen to me.
they'll be right in your spaces.
You can't do this to me.
Please end the show, Steven.
We all silly like the mayor.